Using the energy in the sunlight, electric energy can be generated in two ways. In all the above methods of electric generation that we studied right now, that is from the wind or from the water, the electric generator is driven by using some source of energy, and electricity is generated by making use of the principle of electric magnetic induction. However, electric energy can be generated directly from solar energy without using a generator and without using the principle of electromagnetic induction. That means in case of all the previous one, we saw there has to be a source of energy which moves the turbine, and the turbine moves the generator and gets converts into the electrical energy. But whereas in case of solar energy, there is one method of generation of electricity where we do not use the principle of electromagnetic induction. This happens in a cell called as photovoltaic cell. Solar photovoltaic cells convert the solar energy directly into electrical energy. This is the first method in which the solar energy can be utilized to get electrical energy. The second method is that where the energy in the solar radiation is first converted into thermal energy. Then a turbine generator system is used using the thermal energy to generate electricity. This is more or less similar to what we have been learning till now. Let us see the first type called solar photovoltaic cell. Solar photovoltaic cell converts the solar radiation or the solar energy directly into electrical energy. This is called solar photovoltaic effect. The electrical energy generated through this energy transformation process is DC in nature. That means this is an example of direct current. These solar cells are made up of a special type of contact material called as semiconductor. For example, silicon. Silicon is a semiconductor. A silicon solar cell of dimension 1 centimeter square generates current of about 30 milliampere or and potential difference of 0.5 volt. This is a relationship that you have to remember, because not only you get question answers, you also have sums to solve on it. So what is it that we need to remember? That a solar cell of dimension 1 centimeter square will give a current of 30 milliampere and a potential difference of 0.5 volt. Thus, if you are taking a solar cell having a dimension of 100 centimeters square, it will be giving us 30 ampere of current. How 30 ampere? 30 milliampere multiplied by 100 gives you 3000 milliampere, which is equal to 3 ampere. Converting it into ampere or dividing by 1000. So if you have a solar cell which has a dimension of 100 centimeter square, you will be getting a current of 3 ampere and a current potential difference of 0.5 volt. Again, you need to remember this. It's an important point. So in a photovoltaic cell or the photovoltaic effect, the energy in the sunlight gets directly converted into a DC electric power. This is a very important page, and you get many questions based on this page as well as sums. Not only that, you also get questions based on the diagrams given that explain the diagram. So you need to understand this explanation very thoroughly. Now we saw that about solar cells, and solar cells can be arranged in two different ways. Solar cells can either be arranged in series or they can be arranged in parallel. If many solar cells are connected in series, it is called as a solar string. And if many solar strings are connected in a parallel, they are called as a solar array. Now you see, when we talk about solar cells, the first diagram is of solar cell connected in series. If two solar cells are connected in series, what happens in this case is the potential difference is a combination or addition of the potential difference of the individual solar cells, just as in connection in case of series. So in series, the current flow remains constant, whereas the potential difference is a sum total of the potential difference of every cell connected. However, the current generated from this combination is equal to the current from individual cell. This means when solar cells are connected in series, currents from the individual cells are not added. Similarly, in case of parallel, down the diagram if you see, in case of if two solar cells are connected in parallel, what happens? The current generated from this combination is the summation or the addition of the current from an individual solar cell, whereas the potential difference obtained in this combination remains constant or same as the potential difference obtained from individual cell. Thus, if two solar cells are connected in parallel, the potential difference from the two cells are not added. This is similar to what we have learned about connection in series and connection in parallel. So, understanding this, we are able to get the required amount of output that we need. So, they've given you an example that 5.25. In this way, by connecting many solar cells in series and in parallel, a solar panel generating the required current and potential difference are made. They have given you example in 5.25 diagram. If 36 solar cells, each having a dimension or size of 100 centimeter square, is connected in a series, so it will give a potential difference of 18 volt. How 18 volt? 36 multiplied by 0.5. We know that each will be giving out a potential difference of 0.5. So 36 multiplied by 0.5, we get the answer as 18 volt. And we will be getting current as 3 amperes because it remains constant. Many such panels are connected together to generate electricity on a larger scale. A good solar cell can have an efficiency of around 15%. That means if 100 watt of solar radiation is received by the panel, 15% of it or 15 watt is generated. Now it may sound less, but actually if you consider the amount of solar energy that we receive, it's a huge amount. Many solar panels are connected in series and in parallel to generate the required current and potential difference as shown in the different diagram. As I told you before also, many solar cells come together to form a solar panel. Many solar panel, when they are connected in series, they are called as a solar string, and when they are connected in parallel, they are called as solar array. As we can obtain as many electrical power as needed, they are used in application which need small powers, for example calculators, etc. can be used on solar power. The power available from the solar cell is DC, that means it is direct current. So in application which need DC power, that is electric light based on LED and etc., the energy can be directly used. That is why we use a lot of light based on solar panels. However, since the energy from solar cell is available only in the presence of sunlight, the energy has to be stored in batteries for use at a later time. Most of the time we are using it in the night, so obviously we have to store that solar energy in LED batteries, and which is used to give out the light. However, most of the equipments that we are using in our industries or at our homes run on AC power or alternating current. In this case, what happens is the DC solar power has to be converted into AC using an electronic device called inverter. So what happened in this case, we saw that the energy from the sunlight is directly converted into DC current. But this DC current needs to be converted into AC current with the help of an instrument which is called as inverter. So they've given you a diagram over here. How does a solar photovoltaic station works, or the power plant works? So if you see over there that many solar panels can be connected together to generate whatever energy we need. As shown in the given diagram, the DC power, that means from the solar energy gets converted into DC power, is first converted into AC power with the help of a inverter. A transformer or an inverter transforms the voltage and current levels of the generator generated power, and then it is fed into the electricity distribution network. See, look at the diagram. So we have got from sun, we had the solar arrays or the solar panels is producing DC current. Then the inverter and the transformers are converting it into AC current. Now from that AC current, it is directly put into the electricity distribution network, and from where it goes to the domestic houses or maybe the industries. So in this way, electricity is generated without any fuel combustion, and so without any air pollution. However, since the energy is generated using solar radiation, output is less, and also we require a continuous source of constant radiation. Sometimes it does become a disadvantage. A solar thermal power plant is very similar to the thermal power plants. Now, in this case, in solar thermal power plant, solar energy from the sun is converted into electrical energy. A solar thermal power plant consists of a solar panel, a condenser, a turbine, a generator, pump, and a cooling tower or a cooler. The solar panel consists of many reflectors that reflects and concentrate the solar radiation on the absorbers. This is very important because we know solar energy is scattered. So we use a reflector which concentrates the solar energy. Thus the converting the solar energy into heat energy. Using this heat energy, steam is generated. This steam is used to drive the turbine, which in turn rotates the generator, and electrical energy is produced. The steam is converted back to water with the help of the condenser and the cooling tower. Once the steam is condensed back to the water, it is recirculated back to the solar panel. You can see the diagram, the schematic diagram, and also the different stages in solar thermal power station. How it works? Concentrating the by for collecting the sunlight, then absorber for absorbing the concentrated sunlight, then steam turbines, then electrical generator, and electric energy is generated. Thank you.